Hi everyone, I'm Danny. Welcome to Neither Here Nor There, Conversations Across.
It takes a village. Hi everyone, my name is Christina. So I apologize everyone, today my voice is a little rough. End of the year, too many social activities, you guys know.
But we love it.
So, back by popular demand, or maybe her demand, we have our good friend Ninon on this show. Thanks, Ninon, for coming back. We're really excited to have you here.
Yeah, no, all the comments in the previous episode I made, I was like, okay, I gotta do it.
I gotta come back. We're really lucky to have you here. So
people fight for it.
We fought for it. We had internal debates. Ninon's name pop up top. So for context, as you both know, for this season, we've been talking a little bit about, focus on different pillars of the community, how we all come together, the different actors in the sidelines that make up kind of what how we shape our lives and how we shape the people around us and how we shape, just like different aspects of our journeys in general and in society. So today, particularly, given that we are, all of us are in person, we wanted to focus on how we approach the life that we want to live. What does that mean? That means that, what are the influences that impact our life? How do we make our decisions? And I believe this is like an ongoing conversation we probably have, even off camera, that we talk about, like thinking about, women in their mid-30s, like what are our priorities? How has that changed throughout the decades, throughout the years, as each of us hit different milestones and chapters, right? So to start off, I think I want to ask both Danny and Ninon, as women approaching, mid-30s, what are the things at top of mind when we think about the next few years? I ask this because it seems like we often, struggle or discuss about like settling down, pushing forward, doing more, doing a lot more, but like at the same time trying to find roots. It's just a very back and forth conversation.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think?
About what? What was your question? I'm sorry. Those reindeer ears are just like a lot. All right, Ninon, you take it away first.
What is important in the way I approach life in my mid-30s is kind of like the big question. For me, I think there's a difference between my 20s. There was a real difference between my 20s and my 30s, and I think it's my relationship to like time and like a sort of like renegotiation with time. In your 20s, like you feel like you have endless opportunities to like try different things, and like you can always like open a new chapter sort of thing. And I remember talking with one of my best friends, and we were saying our motto when we were in our 20s. We were like, I think our life motto, if it was just 6 words, would be, I want to feel it all. Yeah, 6 words.
Wow, okay. I want to feel it all.
And I remember she's older than me, so as she was in her 30s, I remember her one day telling me like, it's not I want to feel it all anymore, is I want to be able to say no. And I was like, that is so boring.
Wow.
Yeah. But now that I'm in my 30s, like I really resonate with that, this idea of like saying no as in like committing to something, choosing something rather than like experiencing a lot of things, so that you kind of go in depth rather than in like breadth. And I did someone I knew in the past used to say like the beginning, like commitment is actually the beginning to adventure. And I think now, like in my 30s, I think this is not what I'm mastering, but it's what I'm starting to like learn and see. Does that make sense?
I like that a lot, and I think and I think you're absolutely right. And I think Danny and I mentioned this or talked about this in previous episodes, where you realize at some point that a lot of the good things in life you have to build. You have to spend time building. So it's like going in depth. You can no longer just, try everything, and you have to choose something. But by choosing something, you also are saying no to other things, and that is very hard.
Yeah. Closing doors.
And Ninon and I talked about this, and it freaks me out to close doors. I can't do it.
But it's kind of nice though. It's comforting because then you know a little bit more about what's coming. Ish.
And also too much choice does create anxiety. Yeah. I mean, it's like a reality.
But maybe not for...
But what if... But I also get anxiety by choosing, because then you are like, what if this is the wrong one?
Yeah, that's called FOMO.
No, but you're betting all your eggs in one basket.
This is true. You have some cases of FOMO.
I have a lot of FOMO in life. I have commitment issues.
Well, let's see. I actually resonate with your friend. I feel like I've definitely been trying to adopt that perspective of really just going in depth and definitely saying the no part. Like, I really realize that that's something that I like really want in life. To be able to say no without feeling guilty because it's about my life, right? And I really resonated with a lot of what you said. I think it makes sense for in your 30s. I don't want to choose so much anymore. I don't want to go out and do all that adventure. I want to be a little bit more careful about it, right? And that's as you get older, you're meant to become that wiser person, right? When you're younger, you have the energy to like go out and do a lot of different things. Go hunting for different things, right? But when you're older, you're a little bit wiser, and you don't have the energy, so you have a little bit more like the wiseness to choose, the intelligence to be able to choose the different paths you want, right? Carving the path you want.
Just caveat, we're not old yet. Okay.
No, this is just a midpoint.
It is, yes.
Okay, so I think we are talking quite high level, right? Let's maybe set some examples. I think one aspect of when we are talking about choosing and like trying different things is thinking about our careers, our ambition. Where do we want to take that, right? How has that maybe shifted with your mindset?
In terms of career and ambition, I think there was also a big shift between my 20s and my 30s. I think in my 20s, I was highly ambitious career-wise. The type of person, the type of kid someone would be like, oh, what do you want in the future? You want to be president? I'll be like, yeah, maybe. And that has definitely shifted. And I therefore questioned it a lot because it was such an important part of my identity. When I was like, who is Ninon? I was like, oh, I am the ambitious kid. And when that left me, I asked myself a lot about kind of like, what is ambition? Like, where does it come from? And I think a lot of it, like psychologically, a lot of ambition comes from this idea of, like, deep down is that you want to be, what you're looking for is not the thing. Like, you're not looking for the job in X company, or you're not looking for, I don't know, X marriage. Maybe you're just looking for the emotional kind of reward that it will give you. Like, you're looking for like being recognized, being like proven that you're enough, and XYZ, right? And I think so I think more and more as my ambition started fading away, I realized that it's not really that. It's more like I need to build like a different kind of ambition.
Okay.
Like an ambition that's less about like external recognition, but an ambition that's like more about like internal, like internally, what do I really want to do? And I remember giving myself these little exercise, which were to do things without telling anyone. And I found this so hard. Like, especially in the age of social media, you're like, okay, I'm going to do this amazing, ambitious thing and not tell anyone. And I think that's a real adjustment, because I am now still ambitious, but it's true that it's less about career. Like, I'm ambitious about my life, or I'm ambitious about like the good life I want to lead, right? Not wasting my life.
Yes.
But career just interests me less, because I think you've reached certain milestones, and then you realize it didn't give you the reward you wanted, or just for a moment. And then it would like kind of fade away, and I'll be like, okay, what's the next thing I can do to impress my grandma? It's like, okay. And then it will fade away again. So yeah, in short, I think ambition is changing also in terms of what it means and where it comes from, most importantly.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah. Is it still too abstract?
No, I think that makes sense. And I think you are absolutely right. I resonate a lot with that, because I do think a lot of our early 20s, or even, throughout our careers, a lot of the big driver is searching for that validation, right? To be validated, saying, I'm smart enough, because I got this job, because I got this grade and whatnot. Yeah. And I think in your 30s, you realize, or you already got the pat on the back. Now it's like, what's next? And then for Ninon is to, like, ambitious about living a good life, which we'll come back to that. We'll love to know what it means. But Danny, what do you think about your...
Yeah, I'm really in the midst of still redefining what I want, exactly what you were saying. I I think I spent most of my life like seeking external validation for what I was doing, especially in my career. So like basically my dream was to always get a job that, you know, took care of me financially, and that was it. Didn't really care so much about fulfillment, so I chose the first one that came easy to me, right? The first like career path that came easy, and so I took that path, and now I think I'm just going through a huge shift of trying to figure out what exactly I want. So I'm still figuring out what I want. And I think I do want a career, but it's not as anxiety driven, I suppose. I don't feel so much external, like I don't want so much external validation anymore from that. Or I'm trying to not want it. It's just hard to. So I'm still trying to figure out what I want in my career.
But in like, I don't want career for external validation anymore, but I do think I am really enjoying having a career to be a free and independent woman.
Yes.
Like, you go, girl.
Yes.
For example, I did not care about money at all in my previous life.
Last decade.
My previous decade. And I am starting to have this ambition, which is new, that I totally neglected, and it surprised me. But I think deep down it is about me again, living a good life and like being able to do what I want when I want and not depend on anyone else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not saying no career and like I want to be a housewife sort of thing, but
I mean,
Danny wants to be.
I wouldn't mind that. I'll be honest. No, but I do have a drive to want to build something, but I don't think it's as important as it used to be for me, because I think I put so much worth, self-worth on my career and who I was and where I was, especially, you know, going back to career again, especially on career. So, but now I care a little bit less, and which in a way it frees me up to just think about what I actually really want to achieve in life, what I really want to go for. And I also, I'm still building, so I'm building my career goals. And right now, as I build my career, I realize that I do actually want, like, I don't want to put all my eggs in the career basket. I don't want to make my life defined by work. So I'm trying to find that balance. I find that hard to find that balance. What is your perspective on all this? What's your take?
No, I think I understand what you're saying, and I think it feels like a lot of people are switching to that, you know, going through that motion of what defines them. I think yesterday we had a conversation with a friend about dating as well, and I think going to this like ambition and like validation that we're talking about and what gives us value. I think in our 20s, I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I think like dating someone from a good school, dating someone from a good job, it was very important because it was like, oh, you know, it's like a validation of yourself. Versus now, in our dinner party, my friend was like, that's no longer, you know, the stamp of approval, because so much has happened since schooling that a school does not, you know, ensure anything. So I think it changes as well as you look for that beyond that, you know, title or validation as we call it.
It's interesting. It's nice for you to say that. It makes me feel a little bit better about it, but I still feel like there's a little bit ingrained in all of us, maybe it's just our generation, that we still hold value to that.
For sure, but let me be very frank. In my 20s in San Francisco, it was like, oh, not Ivy League swipe. So like you just you reject these people.
Wait. Christina was on apps?
I mean, like, conversationally, you know, like, conversationally, like, you know, versus like, now people are not as focused. I mean, I guess, I don't know.
I'd like to hope so, because, you know, when I was researching just like this entire topic, I was just thinking about how, like, I do think our society is hyper-capitalistic right now, and it does have a lot of emphasis on consumption. I really do hope that society in general kind of moves back to, you know, quality stuff, like consumption, quality consumption, quality giving. And I think I'm hoping that that's the case, and it gives me some hope to hear you say that. I mean, yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
The French will argue; they always look for the real value,
which is good. I think it's a great thing. Yeah, it's a great thing.
So I want to go back to Ninon's point of like ambition leading a good life. What does that look like?
What does leading a good life mean?
Or how does being ambitious about leading a good life look like? Yeah, mean.
Yeah, I think to me, it's about learning to really understand what is it that you want, or like what is it that makes you happy, like what is it. It's so easy to be corrupted by life, like
Well, so
that's just, that means nothing, it just sounds deep.
Corrupted.
But you know, it's so easy to be corrupted by like what society expects of you, by what like trying to please the person next to you, trying to please your parents and all that. And so perhaps it's not difficult for everyone. Like for me, it's very difficult. And so I think like the first step to leading a good life, it's like being able to like be clear on this. And then it's like acting upon it. So sometimes it requires like saying no to some things, or persevering in some ways, right? But I think, yeah, living like authentically and aligned with what makes you feel good. Like I've spent a lot of many years recently just feeling bad. And I didn't realize I spent like many years just feeling constantly bad, and I was okay with that because I thought, you know, this would eventually kind of lead somewhere great. But that's not
like
true.
Through suffering you will get those kind of things.
It's like the utopia is like what communists say, you know, like you're gonna like do the revolution and one day the utopia will happen. And like I think I'm realizing that's not what living a good life is. The good life needs to like start like kind of now. Like if I don't feel good now, then probably not a good life. So yeah, I guess I'm just going back to basics, but I guess designing it quite intentionally. And I don't think that's so easy. Especially for people like me who just follow their hearts rather than their brain. Unlike Christina.
I'm learning to do the opposite.
Yeah. But I also think there are some models in society. Like as I'm growing older, I think I'm becoming more and more conservative.
Ooh.
Yeah, and I think there are some, you know, we have stories, we have archetypes, we have like biographies of like what, you know, living a good life means for people. I think it's worth like looking at other people's life to understand. And I'm kind of ashamed to say this, but right now top of my head is like I think having a family and like having a kid is like having a good life, not in the sense that it's going to be an easy life, like not in the sense that it's going to be like as easy as when I'm now single, but I think it's like the good life. It's like the meaningful life, the life that is deeper, the life that is also harder in a way.
The life that is human.
Yeah.
But why did you say you're ashamed to say? I think that's a beautiful thing to want.
Because I think when you're, I'm turning, like I'm like 34, 35. I don't know, or maybe I was brought up this way as like, you just, first of all, to be attractive, you gotta be not needy. And I think that makes you, I don't know, there's like a kind of social connotation, like first of all, like you should want other things than that, and second of all, like, are you desperate? You're just trying to be like impregnated right now. No, but so yeah, I feel kind of this shame bringing it up, but that's also why I'm bringing it up. It's like sometimes when you feel that, it means that it's something that you really want.
Yeah. I feel like we as women have to differentiate two things. One thing is, if you want it, you should be very open about it and be able to embrace that. But I think the second thing is, I hear a lot of women feel they're worthless if they're not able to have children. And I think that's a different perspective. Going back to what Danny says, like, what's my worth? And I think a lot of women at our age start feeling they are useless to society or worthless because they don't want to have a family or they don't want to have children. And I think that's something that we should, you know, I think it's okay if you don't want that well, right?
Definitely.
Yeah. I definitely, like, with what you just said about that, because I definitely felt like my old narrative for what I thought my life was going to be was definitely, like, get married, have kids, find a job, take care of the house, whatever. Definitely the traditional path. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I still have, like, small yearnings for that. But I think, right, carving my own path in life, not one size fits all, I'm definitely changing my perspective on that. But I do still have, like, a little bit of that pang. And I think maybe it was just the way that I was raised. maybe women in our age were raised, you're meant to have kids, and if you haven't had a serious relationship, it's worth less than just being single and focusing on yourself, kind of thing. And I think that is a very important note to take.
Yeah, because honestly, the amount of people come up to me and just go, "Did you think about having kids already?" And I'm like,
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah, so many. Like, oh, are you still single? It's like, yeah, I'm still single.
Yeah.
I'm still single.
No, but so I think it's important. It's like, it depends on people. I just gave this example as in like, because you asked me like, what is important for you? And like, for me, this is what feels aligned.
For sure.
With myself at this time. But I have many friends for whom this is not what it is, right? And they do not feel that. And that's also very important.
But what I was trying to get is, I don't think you should feel that you shouldn't be able to express that,
Maybe we're not experiencing this, but do you feel that? Do you feel like you shouldn't
want to have family?
Say too much?
I do have like a weird thing of like, so I never expressed to anyone that I really wanted kids for like maybe 33 years of my life. Basically never said that to anyone. I remember like the first time I said it to my sister, I was like, I have this yearning that I really want kids. She goes, it's normal. And I'm like, okay, I feel better because I've just never expressed it to everyone. So in a way, yes, it's not so like in front of my mind, but yes, I have that feeling like that I can't really say it very much. It feels in a way desperate. And I know I still will.
But can I just say, I actually experienced the opposite, guys. When talking to men particularly, when I say, I don't know if I want kids, I feel like they make me feel like I'm so weird and like so like not human.
That is so interesting.
And it's like, I guess I need to say I love kids. Like, kids are the best thing ever.
So are we just supposed to like...
So women are supposed to feel bad no matter what.
So it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this conversation, is that it doesn't matter if we say, oh, we want kids or we don't want kids. We always get judgment from.
Or it's more just that it's just vulnerable to say anything that you truly like want. It's just the fear of being rejected that we're like reacting.
No, but people react. People are like,
yeah, the fear of being rejected.
But people are like, but you shouldn't want kids, or you shouldn't want kids. Whatever.
So you don't like their reaction because it's like a rejection.
So there's two things I'm getting from here. Yes, I do think it's a bit of a vulnerability of sharing like your needs and wants. I feel like definitely in society we shouldn't be like that, but I think that's one thing. And then the other thing is I do kind of feel like there's definitely a judgment on, depending on who you're talking to, judgment on like saying whether or not you want kids outright.
Yeah, but can I say something? Like I've thought a lot about this as well. And there's a lot of pressure around like, okay, women in their 30s, like biological clock. And it's easy to be like, oh, if only like, I was like a man, I would not have this. Mm-hmm. But I've been thinking that actually there's another way of seeing it, which is like, thank God we have this. Like, it's like an alarm clock telling you you're midway through now. No, but it's very important. Like, to the point about commitment, it's like you have a moment to choose and you can decide to do it or not to do it, but at least you have this sort of like wake up call that tells you like things are finite, things will end. Like, how do you want to design your life? How do you want to like? And I think it helps you like appreciate it more. So I'd rather have an alarm than like just wake up when I wake up and then maybe it's too late and I've missed the appointment. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And so I think living life with this idea in mind is kind of nice.
It is. It's a nice way that you put it. I think it's a different perspective, and I think that's really important because, I still do have that anxiety. And I would like it to not be anxiety and more purposeful and intentional.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't give me so much anxiety, because anxiety just does not help all the time. Yeah.
And I think just in the same vein, something that Ninon mentioned to me a while back that I thought was a very interesting perspective that I never thought about either is that, yes, women, we talk about this, we may be complaining about everything we just said. But at the same time, we are somehow in modern age empowered to also have kids if we wanted to. I have many friends now considering like, raising a child by themselves and whatnot. Versus men, yes, they can, but it's not as easy. The path forward is not as straightforward. Like, they cannot just get themselves pregnant and have a kid,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't really see a lot of like single men just suddenly having kids.
Yeah, they could, but it's just harder. It's just much, much harder. The barrier to that, it is much.
Unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, he did that.
Oh, he did?
By himself. Just one day a kid popped up and his name was Ronaldo.
Oh.
And he was trained
no
in
one knows
football
who
as well.
Ronaldo Jr. Oh.
But yeah.
It's a nice balanced take. That's a nice balanced take. It's to see the other side, because that is true. And I should be more grateful. I feel more grateful after what you just said. All right. I feel more grateful.
All right, guys. So I think we talked a lot about where we are right now as adults, where we want to go, and maybe the next few years where our head is at. But it sounds like we each have a unique approach to what we want out of life, and I'm certain personalities do impact this. But I think there's a part of our upbringing as well, right, that maybe led us to where we are today. So what do you guys think about that? How has your childhood or, impacted these decisions?
You want to start, Lenny?
No? Definitely not. I need to read my notes. It definitely does, for sure.
I mean, certainly. We're like the causal reaction of what comes before, right? Mm-hmm. But I think in terms of like my upbringing, the first thing I often think about is just more like my parents, like what your parents model for you. Mm-hmm. And as sometimes we don't want to think about it that way, but also you're probably very similar to your parents, so it's kind of nice. They're just like running ahead of you, and you can watch how it goes before acting upon your own life. But so I think, for example, for me to be more concrete, like I have a dad who very clearly has a very strong reaction to doing what society expects him to do. So he was like, he tried, like we were talking about like ambition and success, like he in his 30s, like he was like a medical doctor, which like made his mother proud and whatnot, but like mid-30 he just like U-turned and was like, no, this is not right for me, I'm doing this for the wrong reason, and what I want to be is like a farmer. And which was not very like well perceived at the time. And I think that was always the example I had in mind. And I remember being young and thinking like, one day I will maybe do a U-turn. Like, as I was like going through, life and achievement, I was like, maybe one day I will U-turn. Like, what will be my U-turn, So like, that's what my dad modeled for me.
Sorry,
like,
just interrupt.
Yeah.
He U-turned when you were already born, or he U-turned before you were born?
When I was born, when I was a kid, like very young.
So you didn't really experience the before?
I didn't really experience it before.
Okay.
I was like the beginning of the new life. My mom experienced it before, meaning like she thought she was like marrying like a doctor, and then she came back and was like, no, he became a farmer. Like, it's a good test. Like, do you still love me?
It's a good test, yeah.
So I guess that was very important. And then on my mom's side, like I saw a life where she was more in like the normal like success thing. Like she was like more in like the corporate world, like fast paced. But then her in her like 60s, when my dad cheated on her. Sorry. Then she kind of quit her job. Nothing was important anymore. And she just like came back and started like farming with him. I mean, at 60s. And after that left lived a really, really happy life. And even though these like U-turn happen at different moments, I think these are like, at the end of the day, it just taught me about like deep down, like the importance of, like kind of going back to what is like essential and what is important. And so anyway, I think parents really influenced me. And so right now, I think I feel like in this stage where I'm like questioning that, like, what is my U-turn going to be? And like, I don't, I'm gonna speak Chinese. I don't dare fully U-turning, but I keep on looking in the back mirror, like, oh, when can I U-turn?
Do you want to U-turn?
It's no one has asked me this. It's not something I want to. I've always felt like I will have to.
Oh.
You have to go back to something. Is that something like that?
I don't know.
Okay. I think so. Yeah. I'm not sure. Maybe because I'm on the wrong path from the beginning. No, but I do feel like a change is coming. Something towards something that's more real.
Which is great. I personally think it's great. Yeah.
You guys don't think that you'll U-turn? You think it's a straight highway?
Mine isn't so much a U-turn. It's more like I was walking on an off-beaten path or someone else's footprints, and now I'm making my own path. That's how I feel my U-turn is.
Okay.
For me, it's not a U-turn. It feels like
Okay,
I'm just cutting my own path now. I'm cutting my grass now.
I see.
Yeah.
But maybe let's align why you call it U-turn. I think the reason you call it a U-turn is because he started off in a farm.
Oh, he was born there, yeah.
See, okay, so I think for context, because that's why you're saying a U-turn. Otherwise, for people like myself, you go straight and you turn different ways, but there's nothing to go back to, you know? So, okay, so you think you're going to go back to your roots. That's what you're saying.
Not really, just something...
A change, a pivot.
Pivots.
Okay.
Pivots. Where I'm just doing what I truly want. And when you grow old, you stop caring. Like, you stop caring about what people think. You see it in old people. And I can feel this, like, starting to grow in me, like, in the way I interact with people. Like, when I go to parties, if they don't want to talk to someone, I just don't talk to someone.
The coolest person at the party. She's like, if you want to talk to me, talk to me.
But if I want to talk to them, I'm so nice, right? Don't you think?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But if she doesn't want to talk to you, she doesn't want to talk to you.
But when I want to, I want to.
You're so funny.
But I get this U-turn thing. I understand. So it's going back for him, it was going back to his roots. For me, and we're talking about childhood experiences, right? That kind of brought us to this point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Or your upbringing, yeah.
Upbringing. Oh my gosh. I mean, I feel like that's just like a huge topic, but to bring it, to conclude it a little bit better, I think it's like, I do think that it really got me to this point where I am making big changes in my life, where my personality is like, I'm testing out new things in my personality. I'm testing out new things with what I want to do in my career, with all my life pillars. So I think, yes, it definitely has. And I think that for a long time, I was definitely like seeking, I guess my goals have shifted. It does, I don't know, without saying too much, it has, yeah, of course. But I want to change that.
Interesting. You want to change what your upbringing has led you to. No, this is actually fascinating because the two of you guys have... So you guys are saying, we were raised one way. Nino's like, I will just, I've seen how it is, so I'll follow that path. And Danny's saying, I was raised this way and I want to rebel against it. I want to do the opposite of this.
In a sense, it doesn't mean that nothing that I learned was not good. It's just I've taken that and I want to use that to be able to make my own path because I wanted to do the traditional path of, whatever. This is like metaphor, abstractly speaking. Like I wanted to do the marriage, the kids and all that kind of stuff, but that just isn't my path. So I'm using...
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
So who knows? Yeah, sure. But I think right now I'm figuring out things my own way. With what I have, and I don't know, it's kind of difficult because my parents weren't around very much. They were around, but like there was not a lot of talking, and school was difficult for me. So does a hand gesture give you an answer?
Yeah, like we'll see. Interesting.
Okay, and what about you?
I don't think particularly any way of my upbringing. I think I wasn't raised, but I've always been very independent. Maybe too much. And I think I'm learning to be like, okay, now I need to build my support system kind of thing. And that is just like I think it's okay to rely on others. That's what I'm learning in my mid-30s. And that's kind of where I'm shaping kind of my life towards, like, building out ties and community. I've always been very cold, like I can very easily sever ties very easily. I'm learning that's not nice. So trying to do, be more human, I guess. Danny knows that because sometimes I go, I need to do this because then I can be more human this way. It's so funny.
And do you think that's rebelling or what was the other word? Rebelling or what?
Or like conforming.
Following.
I think it's following more. I think.
Okay.
Because I think just like growing up, I was hyper independent. Like my mom would want to tie my shoe and be like, "No, I'm gonna tie my own shoe." Or like she would always say like, we would walk to kindergarten. I'm like 3 or 4. And she would want to walk me to the door, and she's like, and I would like leave her, and I'd be like, no, I'm gonna walk in by myself. And she's like, you're only 3, and you're like, you don't even need my help anymore.
Aww.
So yeah.
It's interesting that you say it in this way, like the dependent or independent kind of thing. For me, and it's interesting how you said it was like rebelling, because I never really thought about it that way.
It's not rebelling.
It's not so much. I know like, it's more like it's different from what you were brought up like.
Yeah,
I think it's never like just like rebelling or like following. Like it's, I think like we're always in like a sort of like continuation, but also just like renegotiation with like what our past is, whether it's our childhood or not. Like, so from your childhood and your upbringing, like maybe what I was talking about was more like, you know, the sort of like values my parents taught me, and that are things that stay. But beyond like values and like role modeling, there's also just like the emotional stuff, you know, like the, you know, I don't know, the availability of your mother, or the like your mom being like, you gotta be independent, otherwise I won't love you, like whatever it is, like there is there. I think as adult, what we're trying to do often is to like, you know how we often like replay these things. So like maybe you go and choose like a, for example, me, say I just openly said I experienced like my parents like cheating thing, then maybe what you then look for is like a partner who might cheat. But no, I'm joking.
But maybe you take that as a lesson.
But
you
I'm
go,
saying,
no, I don't
or
want
like
this.
let's say like who's not so available or something, or dangerous. Let's just call it dangerous. But the reason you're doing this is not to follow exactly the pattern. The reason to do that is because you want you want like a happy ending.
The end result.
You want a different end result. So you want to replay it so that you can transform it.
Interesting.
And so I think a lot about like kind of the relationship between childhood and adulthood is about that. It's about rewriting that ending. Then rewrite, replaying to then rewrite. And then sometimes you fail because rewriting it, because, you know.
That's a very interesting approach. Do you do that? Do you try to recreate to change the ending?
I think I do it, by the way, I do it unconsciously. I'm not saying this
that
is something I do. I'm saying
I don't think I do that necessarily.
I believe all humans do that, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Unless you're a robot, like you're saying.
Interesting.
I did that at a very young age.
Oh, interesting.
Replaying parents stuff, and
recreating certain scenarios that you've seen in the past to try to change the ending.
Yes, but it's unconscious. It's subconscious for me, and I'm very aware of it now. So in the past, it's what I did, and I'm very aware of it now. I'm hyper aware of it now, and I don't want to do that anymore. Because I don't want to change the ending anymore. I think I'm done with that. I'm done with playing around with different narratives like that.
It's better to just go for something different than trying to change the ending of something.
Yeah, because it's like, for me, it's torture. It's like actual torture for me. So like, I think once I really realized that I was doing that, I've decided I no longer want to do that. So I drastically made changes in my life so that I don't have to experience that anymore. Because I think, I feel like we've talked about this before. It's just like wanting something so bad, but it's just not going to happen. So like, instead of just trying to like make it happen, you move on and find something different.
Like find a different happy ending.
Find a different happy ending. It doesn't have to be that exact one. You can't like try not to conform that one happy ending anymore, because there's not so much I can control in life, right?
I'm gonna have to go think about my life. I know this is fascinating. This is very interesting. Okay, and I think going through this, so you know, you've talked about this like recreating and all of that, and maybe changing the ending. Are there any misconceptions or like things that you've been working on changing now that you're an adult? Things that you've learned in the past, and you go, I don't want this. I don't know. Maybe like if you don't mind me asking, like, how do you, given your parents' situation, like, do you view cheating in a different way? Like, I don't know, just curious, like growing up, things like that, you know?
So things that I believe were true and now as an adult I've
like maybe some values or like some things that you now as an adult you're saying, oh, actually I don't follow the same belief anymore, or I don't follow the same thinking anymore.
I mean, I think in general is moving from like seeing life in black and white. You know, like when you're a kid, you're watching, like we were watching Disney. I mean, there still are. Or is it Pixar? I'm not sure. You know, there's like a good guy, a bad guy. Like it's easy.
Black and white, yeah.
You know where you stand. And I think as you grow older, it's the art of understanding that it's all gray and navigating this. And so for you're asking like about cheating or love, like same, like I don't see I shouldn't say this. God forgive me. No, I'm joking. No, but like I definitely don't see cheating unless it's like a recurrent manipulative thing, but like as something negative. Because my parents had this experience and it made actually things better. Like a crisis leads to an opportunity. So yeah, I guess I definitely stopped seeing the world as black and white, and then
That's
cheating as only bad. And in the good thing, there's always bad things, and in the bad thing, there's always good things.
Makes you more compassionate.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does make sense.
How about you?
I don't really understand the question. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The audience knows me by now. Give me a concrete question.
No, I was saying that given that our family values, the way we're brought up, definitely, leads us to think, like, shapes a lot of our thinking. Are there things that you now are changing? Like, these are misconceptions or things that you just no longer adhere to in the same way?
So many things.
Maybe you can give an example.
Can you go first?
I think for me, it has always been like this like traditional way of like thinking of family, like thinking of what's like success look like and all of that. I think growing up, of course, like you always think like, oh yeah, you will build this like family, you will settle down, all that. But I think as you get exposed to new ideas and new ways of life, you see the different possibilities, and you realize there's just different ways to really lead your lives, and I think similar, maybe not exactly the same, similar to what Ninon's saying is that then you also are open to more possibilities of like what life can look like. I think growing up in Peru, for example, it's very standard to like, have big families, all of that. But I never had family around me as I grew up with just my parents and my sister. So it was always like a different perspective of like, what does family look like? How do you spend your time, etc. But now, like, you go into society and realize there's just many different shapes and sizes of any way, of anything, right? There are people who go through various divorces and like mixed families, and you have people who are in large families, small families. Like, there's just different ways of leading life. Some people don't want to be with their families at all. And I think all of that is open and okay,
I think that the reason why this is so difficult for me to answer is because I'm in that transition period of not knowing, like, what my projection is going to be. And I think, like, yeah, my parents, I guess, instilled in the traditional values in me, but I guess I'm now on the path of like really just deciding what I want, and I just don't know what I want right now.
So we'll come back to you.
And I guess that's okay. Like, I think that's what we learn as adults. Like, it's okay. There's so much pressure put on like being clear. Like, who are you? Like, you're supposed to be able to like know like what your identity is, what you want to do, and have clarity on all that. But most of the time we don't know, and most of the time we're just pretending that we know. Like, and so
I could very confidently tell everyone that I don't know what I want, and I don't know where I am right now.
And maybe that's what adult life is. I don't know.
For now, that's where I'm at. So maybe I will have the answers, but I'm open to the possibility of never having the answers, because I read an Instagram post the other day that really resonated with me, because Instagram's truth and all. But no, it was saying like basically like everyone suffers because they try to like they try to want to know everything, right? Know black and white, no segment everything into different colors or whatever. But I think there is some peace in knowing that I don't know something. And right now I feel at peace with not knowing something. It feels a little awkward because I don't really have a good answer for this, and I did try to prepare.
It's okay.
Your answer is good.
But that's my answer.
Okay, I have a last question in this part before we move on. But Ninon brought this up that I was very curious to hear her answer. Ninon, you often mentioned that importance to you about childhood ties, like this shared history. Is it fair to say that you value that in the people you surround yourself? Or like, what is it that you feel so strongly about that?
Yeah, I like childhood friends. I think it's because childhood friends are not like the people we meet now, where, you know, we've been like socialized adult, like we know how to perform the social roles. Like they knew you when you were like undefined, half baked and awkward, you know what I mean? And so there's this sort of, I think from that, you feel that what they know about you is your essence. It's not what you're doing or anything, it's just your essence. And I think there's like an easy sort of unconditional love, and like you can just unconditionally be who you are, like around them. So I think I like that. And then also there's just the fact that they're a little bit like a memory photo book, you know? It's like it's always like, oh, like, you know, the only constant is change, and change is happening all the time, and you gotta like be able to reckon with change. But change gives me a lot of anxiety. And so having a feeling like with childhood friends is that feeling of like, oh, I've changed so much, but they're still there, so they're still like a constant. And I think that's kind of reassuring. And so in a way, so to your question, I think they just remind me about like, who am I, like at the core, at my like most essential state. And I think that's precious. And like, I mean, I love you a lot, Christina. But
not enough, because we don't have a shared history.
No, but with Danny, we have a little bit of that. Like, even though we were not like child, but we were like 15, and I think there's that bond. Yeah, I feel like I know your essence.
Oh, thank you. I think definitely having that shared experience when we're younger, it makes it feel like there's things that I don't have to explain, in a sense. And that is comforting. And I do have friends like that too. I suppose the one flip side is that I feel like I've met a lot of people in the last couple of years, and I've really changed. I've really like grown to appreciate both types of friends. So childhood friends, but also the new friends I'm making that are, you know, maybe a little bit more aligned to my, you know, the community that I want to build, like, you know. And so I do have gratefulness for the new friends that are in life as well. I suppose they're just a little bit different.
So interesting. It's a bit like there's the friends that you don't choose, and then the friends that you choose. You know, like the friends as you're older, it's like they're like more intentionally curated. Like, this is who I am, therefore it's like. And the other one is like, that was not my choice, guys.
Yeah, it kind of feels like.
But
like
there's
like
value in both, right? And like in like your search for identity and like who you are. Yeah, but I just love friends in general.
I think that's the mosaic of life. Okay, moving on to the last section, building our lives as adults. So it sounds like growing up, we probably had one vision of our life, and now bringing us to the present, you know, it has changed. Clearly, we've talked about all the changes that we're experiencing and all of that. So how do you think that has evolved, particularly around like the major life concepts such as ambition and love? So I think we hinted at a lot of it as we talked about, but you know, maybe like giving some concrete examples of like, how do you think of this moving forward? And Danny's looking at me with these big eyes because she's like, I have no idea.
So the question is, as we move forward, what you maybe the life you had pictured for yourself growing up versus the life that you are aiming for now? I'm not a big fan of like big visions and plans.
Nina follows her heart.
I follow my heart, but it's not necessarily good. But I definitely struggle to have that big vision. Like in school, it was actually like a problem. Like I remember the dean of my school, like asking everyone their one-on-one, like, so what's your 5-year plan? I was like, I don't have a 5-year plan. 5 years later, I was like, oh my God, I never had a 5-year plan. Like, so anyway, I'm not saying that this is good, but so I mainly think about like the way I go about life is just every little single day, like the little experience you have every single day, and you're just making constant choice about them, right? Like like I talked at the beginning about like, okay, now my new thing is like learning to say no and like making choices and committing. Like, how is it that I'm gonna be doing this today? You know, like perhaps it's in, I don't know,
that's very interesting.
Yeah.
So do you think you're very lucky in life?
I definitely think like it's easy to think not, but okay. I really think, again, like as adults, like, I think my life is not as, if you had asked Ninon when she was like 10 years old, like what your life will be and how my life is now, maybe 10 years old Ninon would be disappointed. Because she thought she would be president. She's like, what are you doing? Recording this podcast with some Santa Claus.
10-year Ninon will be so happy.
Some Santa Claus hat. I'm not at Davos, you know? But I think what I have learned, and it's that my life is already super good, like, and you can just learn to, I mean, that sounds so cheesy, but it's true, like, just to be super grateful.
Yeah.
Like, we have so many complaints about life, like, that life could be this way or that way, but you can just be, like, so grateful and then tell yourself that, like, a lot of it is not you choosing, it's like circumstances and things around you, and so you're just like relaxed, you're like, okay, let's enjoy the ride and see where it leads you.
I'm a little bit of a mix.
Okay.
My life, how I envisioned it as a kid, because I thought I needed to have a vision, and I always really believed that if I like wanted something or thought about something, I could really, and I worked hard for it, I could get it. And I think that I kept making 5-year plans, and they just kept falling through. And I think that it was a little bit of like, that goal originally became a bit of toxic to me and made me feel like a failure kind of thing. But also I think I was going about it the wrong way. And I was like, you know, following my heart, but then also had this goal. So it was contradictory, right, to what I wanted and what I thought I wanted. And now I just want to live my everyday and be happy with every day, be grateful for what I have, and work towards things. But I want to be more open to them being like changeable, and also not just changeable, but also like I'm building my dreams and goals, and I'm not so like, I'm trying to like give myself pressure to like really like, I don't know, give myself pressure to make sure I make goals, visions.
I don't think having a plan is you have to meet them like other, you know, I think it's more just directionally, like the guidance to your life, you know, maybe looks at it day to day, but like, it's like today, like, it's not even just about career or love or whatever. It's about like, how do you decide, you know, who to keep in touch with? How do you decide where to go for travel? You know, like, it's just more like the guidance in life, like what do you want to achieve in life?
And I do think, even though I don't do it, I do think it's a good thing to have, like, not to quote Oprah Winfrey.
Please quote Oprah.
But no, I just remember her saying, like, you know, the people who are successful is just because they had a vision for themselves of where they wanted to get to. And I think, sadly, I'm not one of them.
but isn't that impressive?
But I'm learning that.
But it's impressive that even without it, you were so successful, right? Like, even without a plan. So imagine with the plan, you could be president.
I would be president of the United States.
Exactly.
Of the United States.
See, you know what I've made it happen. Not even her own country. This is so funny.
Your president gotta be president of the United States.
Come on, France is pretty good too.
I think I would. I think I'm definitely. I'm proud of. I think my 10-year-old self would be proud, but it's definitely not the vision that I envisioned. It's definitely not who I thought I would be.
I thought I was going to be president too.
Check. Here we are.
Doing a podcast.
Failed presidential candidates. That should be the title of the podcast.
Wow, you guys want to be presidents. I wanted to be an actress.
Same stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
Wow. We just wanted to be famous, maybe.
Yeah.
I just want to be powerful.
Oh my god. I remember this, I forgot who saying, like, you know you've been a good parent when you're a kid, don't try and be famous.
Well, for her it's a little different. It's power.
Power. Me was fame.
I want fame too. I wanted fame as well.
That's so funny. All right. So I think we covered a lot, and I think we covered different ways of making decisions, what we're focusing on. Are there anything that you guys want to highlight? Given that, you know, is a little bit laissez-faire, so we'll see where she goes. But like, where, you know, what do you think? What do you want to focus on in the next coming days or next coming years?
I want to focus. I know it's weird to say myself, which I think everyone is doing, but I really, like I told you, like recently that I'm not so, it's like that thing that you see in movies where like a woman like turns her life around, doesn't really care about searching for her husband or having kids or whatever. I want to focus on myself. I want to have fun with myself and enjoy myself. That's all. That's like the only goal I have for like the next year.
2026.
I don't know about 2027 or onwards, but honestly, next year I want to focus on myself and having fun. And yeah.
Good.
That is literally all I got.
Good. How about you, Nina?
Just to say the opposite of her, I want to focus on others. What do I want to
Everyone
focus
but
on?
myself.
Find meaning and purpose and something bigger than me too, No, but I think it's good to have moments where you focus on yourself, and then only then can you also like focus on others. Like I think it makes sense.
That's how I think it, how I view it.
And for me, what do I want to focus on? I'm really in a stage now where I'm focusing a lot on like what is it that intrinsically motivates me, like what book do I want to read, like, and am I doing this so I can talk to someone about it, or I'm doing this because I want to know, or like 3 days ago I started picking up the guitar. Like I'm really into this like learning phase, because I feel like you can just, it's so cool, like life is short and you like can cultivate what you are, and there's still the opportunity to do so. So yeah, I noticed recently that this is my new interest. It's like looking for my intrinsic motivation at this age, now that I know myself and I'm aware like what is it that I'm drawn to, and trying to like listen to that, and then like grow into a better person, because I still have a lot of sins and
Despite what you see, she still wants to be better.
And you, Christina?
I think for most of my life, I've been very intentional with my life, except for the last 3 years. I feel the last 3 years I've been very like laissez-faire, like whatever.
You hang out too much with me.
Yeah, just like go with the flow, like whatever comes, I'll let the universe guide me. I think I've done that too much now. Honestly, the last 3 years, it's been just me like, yeah, whatever. So I think 2026, I'm just going to be more intentional. Like I'm going to actually now go back to making, decisions towards like an actual plan.
So I know I said that I focus on myself, but that's actually kind of what I want to do.
Stop copying me.
I take your answer. Let me use.
I like that. I'll take that.
Can I take your answer? Thank you.
But it is like I want to intentionally have fun, intentionally focus on myself, because I feel like I've never really done that, and that's to add on to what I was saying. That's what I want to do, but the answer is myself.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Is there anything else that we didn't touch upon that you feel like you are burning to share with the world?
Community is important. Oh, sorry.
No. I was like, Nina must have something, but you go ahead.
No. Please go ahead.
Go. Community is important.
Community is super important. I'm still building that, and that it takes a village is.
Yeah,
it's
that's
real.
why we're all here.
And it's the same, like whether you have a kid or not. Especially when you have a kid. When you have a kid, you really need a village. But I feel like I'm still trying to build that, still trying to find that balance, still trying to find that. And I think it starts with myself.
Yeah.
And the next, supposed words.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Nothing. Other than we're all gonna die one day.
Oh, no!
Happy holidays, guys, based on that so cheerful answer. All right, guys, let's wrap up. Thank you guys so much for sharing so much about yourself. It's always good chatting with both of you guys and learning your deep thinking and deep thoughts, Yeah, I'm really curious how this conversation will go when we revisit it in
when we're 40.
40.
We'll feel very different probably.
Probably be like, oh, these silly girls, what were they talking about?
Were they my friends?
Who was that Ninon girl? But yeah, I hope you guys got something interesting out of this conversation.
It was difficult.
Thank you for your questions.
Yeah.
No, of course. And then we're wrapping up the year as well. So wishing you both a happy new year, and may 2026 be everything you ever wanted.
Yeah. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.
Right.
That's it.
Don't
See you guys.
forget. Wait.
sorry,
Don't
guys.
forget to follow us on all the different social media. And happy holidays.
Happy
Have a good one.
holidays. Happy New Year.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.